Hey, what is going on, everybody? Thank you all for watching my video today. Now, the NBA regular season is nearing its conclusion. The playoffs are about to begin really in 10 days from now. April 10th is the beginning of the NBA playoffs. And with that in mind, the regular season, as it's wrapping up, that means the regular season awards for this season will really be set in stone because these are regular season awards. The playoffs don't impact who wins. So today I'm going to be giving not only my awards ballot for the month of March, as I've been given an awards ballot updated awards ballot throughout the season. I'm also giving my final predictions for who will win these awards, as there's not a lot of regular season left to be played. So I think what I got here today, what I got to bring to the table, is my final prediction. Let's hope I get most of these, if not all of them, correct. So jumping right into it, the one everybody wants to talk about, the MVP race, and it's a three-man race. I think it's actually one of the most competitive MVP races I can remember as an NBA fan. And unfortunately, it was fortunate at first, but it's starting to become unfortunately for me. One of my favorite players, well, not one of, my favorite player in the NBA, and in the NBA, Joel Embiid, is at the forefront of this MVP debate, and it seems like he is not going to be named the MVP of the NBA. And I've been saying pretty much the entire season, except for I think my December award ballot, I said Kevin Durant was the MVP. Then he got hurt, and ever since then I've been saying Embiid is, if this is Embiid's year. This is the year he's going to finally take home the trophy. But as of late, the Sixers have dwindled. I just put out a whole podcast, if you saw, that I killed the Sixers at the beginning of it for their lack of energy. But just because they've been playing so poorly doesn't mean I no longer think Embiid is the MVP. I still think he's played the best out of any player individually throughout the season. I think what he's been able to do with the Sixers, he's proven his value. We lose Ben Simmons, and for about 60%, 70% of the season, it was just him and Seth Curry and Maxey trying to do all they could to keep this team in contention, and they were able to do that. The Sixers have been the one seed on a number of occasions throughout the year. The East is very competitive, so they haven't kept it for too long, but we've been up there with the best in the conference for a while. Embiid on this season, he's averaging 30 points a game. That's a career high. He's fighting with LeBron and Giannis to be the league leader. He's also putting up where's his stats? He's also putting up career-high free throw attempts. We already knew he was a great free throw shooter and great at getting to the line, but he's putting up a career-high 11.7 attempts a game this season, shooting 49% from the field, 36 from three. I've also noted many times I thought he's improved a lot as a passer this season. He's at about 4 assists a game, a little over that, 4.2 right now. Early in the season, he was closer to 5. I think since James Harden's been here, his playmaking duties have subsided a bit. But nonetheless, I think he's shown a lot of growth in that area. And really overall, I think he's had a terrific season. Also, a thing that's been held against him in the past, injuries. He's only missed 4 games due to injury this year. All of his other absences were due to the COVID outbreak that harmed pretty much every team in the league at the beginning of this season throughout the first 2 months of the year before 2022 January the calendar turned, and that's when things started to change in that regard. But Embiid, I think, is the deserving MVP, but what I'm kind of doing this, I'm going to kind of have co-MVPs here because I want this to be who I think deserves it, and in most cases, the person I think deserves it is who I predict the win. But I don't think Embiid's going to win. I think the way the national media has been changing the narrative on Embiid has been pretty telling, and I think when push comes to shove, Embiid's not going to win the MVP. Now, I'm hoping the person that they rob Embiid of with the MVP will be Giannis Antetokounmpo and not Nikola Jokic. And Nikola Jokic just has a great season. I'm not trying to be a Jokic hater, but I look at Embiid and Jokic, and I see two teams that have similar records, and I don't understand what makes Jokic better than Embiid. I think Embiid's the clear better defender, and I think Embiid's shown more growth as a player and as a leader in this season, where to me Jokic just stayed the same. And yes, he's terrific. He's a great player. I'm not going to pretend he isn't. But to me, if someone's going to be an MVP that isn't Joel Embiid, it should be Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's putting up 30 points a game, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, only in 33 minutes a game, which 33 is still a lot of minutes, but you look at someone like James Harden who used to put up 30 points a game in 38, 39 minutes. What Giannis is doing over this season and last season has been absolutely incredible. The Bucks are 48-28, so a bit better than the Sixers. Giannis is still arguably the best defensive player in the NBA, if not one of them. And, even what he's done lately, I got a picture right here. Let me pull it up. His last 10 games, 44 points, 40 points, 30 points, 25, 36, 30, 31, 43, 39. That's how you end a season. That's how you go into the playoffs defending your title with some confidence. Giannis is playing absolutely terrific right now. And I think Embiid still deserves the MVP because when I look at Embiid, the team has been winning less. He's had a handful maybe of disappointing performances, but overall he's still scoring 30 a game. He's still the best player on the Sixers. He's still doing all the work he needs to be doing. And it's really upsetting that he's going to be kind of robbed of an MVP because I really think him, Jokic, and Giannis are very close. I think this is the closest MVP race, especially an MVP race with more than two people in it. A three-person MVP race like this, I can't remember having one like this that was so tightly contested. But Embiid and Giannis, one of them's the MVP in my eyes. I'm going to be upset if Jokic doesn't come in third, but there's still a chance he won't. This is a topic I should save for another day. I'm doing an All-NBA ballot podcast on the Trust the Podcast feed. Check that out. Follow it. I'll leave it in the description. Check that out if you haven't already. But me and my friend Chris Reynolds are going to be talking some All-NBA in the coming days. I'm going to have that coming out. But, I've already gone 6 minutes on this MVP race because it's a really big topic. And I'm just worried that they're going to get it wrong. The media's going to get it wrong. But I hope that's not the case. I hope Joel is able to walk away with the MVP. But moving on to the rest of the awards, which are a lot less controversial. Starting off with the Rookie of the Year, I still got Evan Mobley. I haven't changed my mind on this all season. He's been my Rookie of the Year every month since November. And Scotty Barnes and Cade Cunningham have had great Rookie of the Year campaigns. I'm excited to talk about this rookie class when me and Chris look at the all-rookie teams because it's a great class. There's tons of guys who've shown out this year. But to me, Mobley stands above the pack. What he's been able to do, and I've said this, you can look at any video I've done for this award ballot. I say the same thing pretty much every time, just differently worded. But now that the season's coming to an end, I can really pixelize it here, capture it here. Mobley, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 1.6 blocks per game. Cleveland has the 7th best defensive rating in the league. Mobley has an individual defensive rating of 106.9, which is above the league average. The lower your defensive rating, the better. The league average was 110 for reference. And just what he's been able to do, this is a Cleveland team that coming into the year, very few people, maybe, I don't know any Cleveland fans, so maybe they thought this team was going to break out, but me, as a guy who just observes every team that isn't the Sixers from pretty much national TV in the playoffs, I didn't see this coming at all for Cleveland, and he was the antithesis. As that number 3 pick in the draft, he came in and, he's not even playing center, which we thought he was going to. He made this thing with Jared Allen work, this dueling big front court, which we thought was going extinct. He helped revitalize it. He's an athletic freak. That he's got a giant wingspan. He can guard multiple positions. He's very switchable. And and offensively, I shouldn't leave out the offensive part. I think he's been terrific defensively. One of the best defensive rookies I've ever seen. But offensively, 15 and 8, shooting over 50% from the field is also really big. And I don't know, I think he's been terrific. And no hate to Scotty Barnes and Cade Cunningham have both been terrific, and they're going to finish in the top 3 in the voting, I'm sure, but Evan Mobley, I think, is a future star, like an all-NBA caliber player, maybe future defensive player of the year. I'm excited to see where his career goes. So it's been really awesome to see him blossom in his rookie season. Taking a look at defensive player of the year, I'm changing my pick from the guy I had for a while. I had Mikal Bridges for a couple months there, and I still think he's going to be a first-team all-defensive selection. The Phoenix Suns have been absolutely amazing this year. They're going to win maybe 65, 66 games, and he's the heart of their defense on the wing. He guards the best player on the other team. But Jaren Jackson Jr. has swayed me over this past month because the record that Memphis holds without Ja Morant is just getting ridiculous. 19-2 for the Grizzlies without their star player Ja on the season. And what Jaren Jackson, he's the league leader in blocks with 2.3 a game. Memphis is the number 4 defense in the league at defensive rating. And I would imagine that in the past few months, they're even higher than 4th place. Jackson Jr. I was not expecting this from him. He's coming off the injury from last year. I think he only played in 14 games due to the meniscus tear. But I just didn't see him ever becoming a just elite defender like this. I know that he had shot blocking prowess coming out of college, but I just thought, in the NBA, he wasn't going to be that level of an impact guy. Still a good player. I thought he was good, but And his offensive stats this year really aren't anything special, but what he's been able to do on defense has been transcendent for the Grizzlies. They're the 2 seed now. They passed Golden State in the standings. Golden State struggled without their own defensive player of the year, former defensive player of the year, Draymond Green. But Jaren Jackson, man, he should be in the most improved running in my eyes as well. I mean, he's been terrific for them. And it'll be interesting to see if he can really help anchor the Grizzlies defense, continue to anchor it in the playoffs when Ja comes back. Can that team give the Suns a run for their money in the playoffs? We'll have to see if that matchup even comes to fruition. But if it does in the Western Finals, it could get really interesting. So, Jaren Jackson Jr. is my Defensive Player of the Year. Moving on to Sixth Man of the Year, Tyler Hero. I mean, this is a guy just like Evan Mobley. He's had this award locked up since the fall. I mean, this dude's averaging 20 points a game off the bench. Granted, he's playing over 30 minutes a game, so kind of starter's minutes, but he's still coming off the bench. That's his role, and he follows the rules of the award 100%. Underrated as a creator, 4 assists a game. And he's in the Heat, the way Jimmy Butler's been struggling to make shots, the way the Heat have been a little dysfunctional lately, Tyler Hero's the guy at the end of the games that they've been looking to all season, at least for the better part of the season. And come playoff time, this Heat team, they've lost the 1 seed now. Actually, I think they still have it, but they're hanging on for dear life to keep that 1 seed. And if they have to match up with Brooklyn, if or when they do, Tyler Hero is going to be the guy that decides their fate, because I think Jimmy will come and go, especially the way he's played this year. I think some games he'll come to play, some games his shot won't fall. Bam will probably have a great series against the Nets, because just like Joel Embiid, how I talk about the Sixers and the Nets, I don't think anyone could even guard Bam on Brooklyn. But Kevin Durant's going to be making his shots. Kyrie Irving's going to be making his shots. Can Tyler Hero step up to the plate, make Jack Harlow proud, and just have a breakout playoffs? That's what he's going to need to do. But we're talking regular season right now, and he is the hands-down Sixth Man of the Year for what he's done in this regular season. Moving on to the final 2 awards. Most Improved Player, I'm sticking with Darius Garland. I've thought about this award a lot all year, because I think it's, dare I say, I haven't done the research to look like to the 1993 Most Improved Player race or anything like that. But I would venture to say this is the greatest Most Improved race of all time, because the amount of guys who've taken the strides this year, I think if I had to narrow it down to 4 guys who really deserve it, it's Darius Garland, Jordan Poole on Golden State, who's filled in for Klay Thompson and even Steph terrifically. Tyrese Maxey, my guy. I mean, what he's been able to do, proven as a shooter, a creator, as a leader, a partial leader of this team, it's been amazing to see. And DeJounte Murray stepping his offense up in San Antonio and potentially having the Lakers on the ropes of missing the play-in now because of what DeJounte's been helping the Spurs accomplish this year. All 4 of those guys would have won it in any other year. But I think what sets Garland apart is that he became the best player on his team. He improved as a creator. He improved as a scorer. He improved in his efficiencies. He improved on defense. He's putting up 1.3 steals a game for a really good Cleveland defense. Makes his free throws 89%. He's just become the leader of that team. He's become a guy you can count on in the end of games. And in the playoffs, Cleveland's probably going to get they're probably going to get destroyed because of all the injuries. They're missing Jared Allen right now. They're missing, I don't know what Karis LeVert's status is at the moment. He's been in and out of the lineup since he got there. But if they're going to have a shot in the playoffs, it's going to be because Darius Garland comes to play. Also Mobley, who I was mentioned before, that Cleveland team. What a turnaround for them, as I said. But Garland's going to be the guy, just like Tyler Hero, what I was just saying. Garland's going to be the one needing to make the shots if Cleveland's going to keep their playoff hopes alive in a couple weeks. And finally, for my Coach of the Year, I'm changing my pick. I had Billy Donovan for a large portion of this season because I thought what he was doing the Bulls was great, but the Bulls have kind of floundered out here. They look mortal. Billy Donovan was doing a great job coaching these guys despite the injuries, but at this point in the season, it's just gotten, the injuries have lasted too long, and the Bulls' momentum is kind of faded, and it looks like they're looking at a first-round exit. So now my new Coach of the Year pick, Taylor Jenkins of the Memphis Grizzlies, man. As I mentioned with Jaren Jackson before, the Grizzlies are 19-2 without Ja Morant, but it's also what they did with Ja Morant. They're 54-23, number 2 in the Western Conference at the time of this recording. A year ago, they were in the play-in game against the Golden State Warriors, and it was a great win, but they lost in the first round. The Utah Jazz. Do you think this Grizzlies team will lose to Rudy Gobert? No! The Grizzlies have turned this team around. The players, but also Coach Jenkins, have done a terrific job this year. From its Desmond Bain, who actually I should have mentioned him, the most improved player race too. 18 points a game. He's become one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. The most improved race was crazy this year, but his improvement, Jaren Jackson's improvement, Ja Morant's improvement. I mean, that guy. I'm doing, as I mentioned, All NBA ballot. I'm going to do. Very high chance he's on the first team. Almost impossible that he isn't actually. What he's improved as a scorer and as a creator, a leader, kind of like Garland, but on a much even greater scale. That bench unit for them is, I mean, Tyus Jones. Have you seen his assists? The turnover ratio? Insanity over in Memphis. And, the players have of course, you can't discredit the players, but with Taylor Jenkins, these are the same guys that were on the team last year, more or less. And he's just, he made it work. A lot of people panned their trading, their Jonas Valanciunas, Steven Adams trade. That's worked out too. I mean, it's helped, Steven Adams has helped, along with Jaren Jackson, make that defensive front court very, very one of the best in the league. And I just think Taylor Jenkins is the coach of the year. And you can point to Monty Williams what he's doing in Phoenix, because they're going to finish probably with a top 20 record in NBA history, like in a regular season. And he deserves credit for that, but I think he should have won last year. I think he probably should have won over Tom Thibodeau Coach of the Year last year, because he turned that Suns team around so fast. But they're really only a tad better than they were a year ago, because they were in the finals last year. I mean, yes, winning 66, 67 games is impressive, but I think what Taylor Jenkins has done is more impressive. Ime Udoka, Boston coach, what he done to turn the Celtics around after the All-Star, since January actually. They hold a 30-11 record since the calendar turned to 2022, 47-30 on the year. I think he's done a terrific job as well. But without Ja Morant in the lineup, the Grizzlies have continued to win as of late, and like I said, all season long they've been consistently a contender. So I'm giving Taylor Jenkins my coach of the year. So this went a little long, but I thought with this being my final awards pick of the year, I thought I'd give everyone their due diligence. So thank you guys so much for watching my video today. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like I said, check out my podcast. I'm going to leave it in the description. Trust the podcast. Mostly about the 76ers. Me lately complaining about the Sixers and their recent performances. But also some other content. I'm going to have some NBA content as a whole as the playoffs start. I'm going to have some more of that as well. So thanks for watching my video, and have a great rest of your day.